Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Dark Roast. I'm Donna Stroll, and I am here with the beautiful and always talented Rose Short.
What up?
And today we are going to talk about customer service and
Yes.
why it's your secret to online marketing success. So,
Yes.
that is the
Focus on
goal
the
for today.
relationships, not the profits.
Yeah. So, pardon me. The role of customer service in your online marketing is it's multifaceted, right? It's going to build your trust and your credibility. If you're helping the people that are coming to you, then obviously they're going to more likely trust you and recommend you. It improves your lead nurturing, right? So they're people are on the fence, right? They don't know who they're going to buy from, especially in the online marketing space, because there's so many voices coming at them, right? So if you have a higher level of customer service and without, you're giving without the taking, then people are going to want to, they're going to lean more to you than otherwise, right?
Yeah.
So and then of course it increases loyalty, right? Any store you've bought from, when you've bought something, if you've got good customer service, you're more likely to want to stick with them, right? So
Yes, for sure.
and yeah, it's definitely differentiates you, right? Because you're going to stand out as the guy. Oh yeah, go to them. They'll actually help you versus, well, maybe I don't know. They were kind of dicks to me, right?
Or I just didn't respond. I had that multiple times where I'd reach out to someone that like I had followed and asked them a question, and they'd be like, well, "All the information's in the course." Like, clearly not, or I wouldn't be asking. But okay.
That's crazy. It's also the same as Google it. I
Mm-hmm.
freaking hate that. You go into a course and they just tell you to Google it. It's like, yeah, I can do that. Maybe I've already done that. Like, if you really want them to Google it, put together a resource and say, well, here's where you can find a lot of that information,
Mm-hmm.
especially if you're getting the same questions all the time. Create a resource and make it easy for people.
Yeah.
And then of course it obviously directly impacts your conversions, right?
Yep.
The more helpful and serving that you are, the more likely that people are going to convert to what your thing is. So,
Yeah. So, easy ways to do that, right? You need to be easy to reach. ManyChat is a really good free resource for this, especially for reels and whatnot. You can just say like, hey, comment this word, and then you can have a really nicely automated follow up sequence. Or even just being so simple as adding a contact me button on your site or your post or anything like that. Chatbots, of course, are very popular. I do get frustrated with chatbots, but if it's built out correctly, then they do work really well. Or even a fact page, kind of like what you were talking about. And then of course, email, right? Like your email shouldn't be hidden. Have it out there.
yeah.
And then answer their questions, right? Don't leave them on read or leave them unread or anything like that. You don't have to be answering it right away, but you should be getting to it within 24 hours. Um, sometimes they don't understand a step in the process, and maybe their business coach isn't available, or maybe they don't have a mentor yet and they're just needing to get some clarity on something, right? Be that person, and don't
Yeah.
be afraid to thoroughly answer it. Like, so many people will give like half the information. Be honest, be upfront. It's not all about the sell.
Well, yeah. And I mean, if people are asking you a question, you can answer that question without giving away the bank,
Hmm.
right? Like, you're not giving them every piece of information that's in your course, but you can certainly, or in your product. I mean, and if you're doing products, you want to be more thorough with the questions, with the answers that you're giving. Obviously, if you're doing a course, no, you're not going to give them the whole course via text message or email. So yeah, you might have more high level answers, but if they're stuck at a point, help them move forward. And if it's about a product, give as much information as they're asking for because they want to know. And without giving, if you're just like, well, just buy it and you'll see.
Yeah.
No.
Yep.
And that really
Yep.
falls into the educate, right? Educate,
Hmm.
don't just sell.
Yes.
Especially if you are selling courses or programs where there's some sort of expectation that they'll be learning something, whether it's a coaching program that's, helping somebody move forward with mindset, or you're helping somebody build out a business, or like your friends, the finances, right?
Hmm.
You want to educate and give them like things, actionable steps that they can do where you're not selling them. You're just giving them the information. And then when you do put an offer out, they're like, wow, this person knows what they're talking about. And, they've already helped me without actually having, put out money. So that's super helpful. Right.
Yeah. Yeah, we do that with our ice wellness clients as well, where before we even start with a guided plunge, we give them the free resource of, what temperature should they probably start at depending on their goals, because everyone has different goals. 50-degree water works for some people, 33-degree water works for some people. It just depends on the individualization. So, and that's where personalized interactions really come into play, because you need to know what the pain points are before you start just pitching them, right? Like, if someone reaches out to me and is like, hey, I really want to start a faceless YouTube channel, I'm not going to be like, oh, well, you should check out this course on affiliate marketing, right? Because it's not the same thing. Like, do I know a good faceless YouTube course? Yeah, absolutely. But that would be the course I would send them then, right? Because if you don't really know what they're going for, if you don't know what problem they're trying to solve, then just throwing links at them isn't going to do any good. And it's really, really impersonal.
Yeah. And I mean, in addition to that, you want to follow up. Like if you're going to give them recommendations, follow up. You can use your emails, you can use your DMs, whatever, right? You can follow up with them, and maybe they're still on the fence. And so maybe you want to give them like a discount, or, an extra bonus on top of that, just to sort of make them feel like you care if they're going to be part of your customer base, your client base. And then also, if you can, give them extra tips on how to use whatever it is that you are promoting to them, right? So it's all comes in and is tied together with that whole credibility and trust building and rapport building, right? That's what customer service really is it's your rapport building. So
Yeah. And then, of course, you can leverage social proof. And we don't mean, snapshots of commissions or bank accounts or anything like that. Get testimonials and use those to help people feel at ease, right? Like, we're seeing it more and more, especially as the legislation on coaches and online coaches is cracking down and putting really harsh stipulations on them, which is good.
yep.
Um, you want to see that they've actually helped people versus they've made a sale, right? Because, like, if you're going to hire a coach, you want to make sure that they're going to get you results as well as, get the money. So,
Yeah, that's really important because I mean, and it's harder when you're first starting out. So maybe your social proof is going to be more about what you've gained, right? If it's a training that you're selling, something that, then it's something more about what you've gained and the information that you've done. And also, talking with other people, or maybe you interview people who have been through the same program, who have had success, so that you can share their testimonial, their social proof on yours, right? And so there's ways around that, especially when you're first starting out, because it is hard when you're first starting out. I know, like right now, I'm just building out my coaching business. So I'm not going to have a lot of social proof right off the bat. I mean, I have proof from friends and people that I've helped along the way, but not part of my actual business. So I have to reach out to those people and say, hey, I helped you. Would you mind helping me?
right.
All right. And then also be friendly and approachable, unless, even if your brand is a little bit controversial, like if that's where how you've chosen to do it, when you're talking to potential clients, you cannot carry that snark all the way through. At some point, they still have to want to talk to you. And, yes, you can have a controversial personality. And yes, you can be a no nonsense, hard talking, hard hitting, what all of those things. But you still have to have that approachability, because if they're afraid to talk to you, then they're not going to gain anything from you. Right. So,
Yeah. Well, and especially if you're selling high ticket and they can't afford it, right? Like you and I have both worked with people who will just go on tangents about how they hate poor people. And it's like, okay, but like everyone starts somewhere.
yeah,
So, being mad right off the bat's not good. Like I get it. Like I don't like the free lead gen because I don't, think there's a lot of value there. I think a lot of the people that want a free theme want a free theme and that's it. But that's not to say that like they're bad people. It's just maybe they want the free resource. They read the free resource and they're like, okay, there's a lot of work that's gonna go into this. Like, I don't know if I can commit to that, right? There's reasons beyond like they're bad people that they don't buy. And so yeah, you don't, again, know what problem they're trying to solve. Like the video I released this morning, I flat out said, here are free ways to start building money online, because my focus isn't really selling a course. My focus is just helping people be free of their toxic jobs or, toxic legislation.
absolutely. And this is the same reason why I created, my little document that I give away, which is, low to no cost stuff. Because there's ways to get into the online market, especially if you're looking at trying to do, trying to get into the initial affiliate marketing. You want to take a course because you want to learn. Here's some ways that you can build out some of the things without breaking the bank, because you're as you build and as you grow, you will probably spend more,
Yeah.
right? But at the beginning, you might not have that money to do it, but that doesn't mean that you're not interested in growth. Just means that you have to grow at a pace that works for your bank account, right?
Yeah.
Not theirs.
Yeah.
This is the same as people who, well, go into debt, pull out your credit card. Don't do that. Not unless you really are in a place where you can actually pay that back, because you're just going to end up putting yourself in a level of stress that you don't need.
Yeah.
Right. And like the same with the products. If you're selling a high-end product, don't don't be somebody who pushes somebody to spend money they don't have, because that's just going to be very frustrating. I know it reminds me of way, way back, and I got hired at a retail store and on Robson Street in Vancouver, which is it's a mecca for high-end stores and little boutiques and stuff like that. So I'm at this boutique and I'm in there, and this gal comes in and she's built like me, right? And they push this girl. They push her and push her and push her. And she walks out with this orange and brown horizontal striped shirt and some pants. And it's not her. It doesn't look right on her. But because their sizing section for women of my size was so small and limited, this is what they had, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they pushed and they pushed and they pushed. And then after she left, they asked me why I didn't. And I'm like, I can't. I'm not okay with that. You pushed this girl to buy something that was high end, expensive, that did not look good on her, did not suit her. She's going to go home. She's going to put it on and go, because she wasn't sure about it even when she was standing there, but the pressure was so high that
Mm-hmm.
she ended up buying it. And she's going to go home. She's never going to wear this.
Yeah.
Like, be better. You want customer service is not all about getting that commission. It's not, right? So and that's what I think of every time I hear somebody pushing to spend money on something that's just not maybe the right time or the right fit for them. It's just like,
Well,
makes
that's
me.
the other thing, right? Like if you have to convince them, it's probably not for them, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like if it's something they're excited about, then like they're excited about it and there's not going to be, but if you have to sit there and like look at your script and go, okay, well, like this is their argument. So like, let me argue this, or like, oh, this is their argument. And like you have to go through multiples of those. Once you've pushed or convinced someone of it, there's gonna be regret somewhere.
Yeah.
And then they're gonna be mad at you, right? And so like that's why, like for me, I'm like, cool, think about it, sleep on it. You do you. Reach out to me if you want to proceed, but like I'm not gonna sit there and convince somebody that they need to take, XYZ course, because maybe they
Yeah.
don't.
And that's where I actually really do like some people don't like the mini courses that they give away, the master classes, like the 3 or the 5-day ones. I actually really like those because that gives people an opportunity to go in and take a look and see if it really is something. Maybe they don't like the person they don't jive with the person that's teaching it, or they don't jive with the information that's being given. And so I think that gives them a really low ticket, low barrier to entry that allows them to look and see if whether or not this is really something they want. As long as the sales calls aren't super insane, because they will have a sales call, they will have a sales push usually, um, which is fine, right? It just depends on who you're talking to, whether they're going to be pushy. So just know that if you're going to take one of those, that you also give yourself permission to say no.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if you're just starting out, don't be afraid of losing that sale because the product wasn't right for that person, right? Like,
Yeah. Because if you handle that with grace, then they might come back to you later when you have something else, or you're expanding, or maybe it is the right time for them, right?
yeah.
So if you handle that with grace at the time, then that is something that can come back to you later on, right? So um, areas that you want to focus on would be things like your pre-sale support, right? Help the people who are, your leads or the people who are interested really understand what they're buying, and why they would need it, but without being pushy, right? You're there to help them. You're there to help them make that decision to see if it's really right for them. And it's your job to pay attention, right? So,
Yeah.
and then you want to do
I've-
post-sale.
yeah.
Okay.
Follow up, see how they're enjoying it, see if they've had the call with the coach or the sales guy or whatever. With a previous program that I affiliated for that I'm no longer really promoting, they had a $2,500 upsell. That one of the girls that had taken the course reached out to me and said, "Hey, did you get this?" And I was like, "Yeah, I did." And honestly, it's not worth it. Like, get if you want to continue to grow, I was like, I would suggest investing in the mentorship or the coaching program. I would not invest in that because I did, and it really, to me, was not worth the money.
Right.
So I lost out on, an affiliate commission on that one. But again, like, I didn't find it helpful, and I wasn't prepared to tell somebody else to spend that kind of money for it.
And also, I think what you did in that moment is you cemented in their mind that you're an honest person, so that when you do promote something, they're going to look at that and go, well, she's honest about it, right? So she was honest with me before. She could have made a sale. She chose not to by being honest. So I'm going to trust her more when she comes out with something else that she's doing, or something else that piques my interest. I'm going to go with her because she didn't try to just steer me into spending more money, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then you can also do feedback collection, which, is basically you're using surveys to ask your leads about their experience. Whether they're just starting out or whether it's post sale. This really helps you look at what you did and what you didn't do right. And then maybe refine how you're approaching it, and don't be offended when people give you some little bit of negative feedback or constructive criticism, because that's all gold for you, right? That's all gold for you to figure out how to do better, or if something's working, what to keep. So,
Yep.
right, it's pretty straightforward, pretty simple. The key thing with customer service is respecting the people and seeing them as people and not as dollar signs. Now, on the flip side of that, if you have someone who is super aggressive, right? If you have a customer who is being super aggressive or is being really negative towards you, well, you should just give me this and you should just do that. You have the right to say no, because just as much as they get to choose who they want to work with. You also get to choose who you want to work with. If someone's belief systems or behavior systems do not align with you, you are more than welcome to say, you know what, that's just, I don't think I'm a good fit for you. And that's okay. You know, you do not have to take other people's crap.
Yep.
And I think that, you know, the customer is always right is not true. I mean, we see that
Well,
enough, right? That
typical Americans, we ruined the actual phrase, because the actual phrase is the customer's always right when it comes to taste and style,
yeah,
which means, if they want a purple Bentley, you get them a purple Bentley. You keep your opinions to yourself. It does not mean the customer gets to be a freaking butt hat.
yeah, yeah, exactly. And especially, I mean, depending, especially if you're doing in the health and wellness, I think, where you're dealing with people's mental or physical health, um, people can get really rude. And so, or maybe they have a total idea of how things should go. This just doesn't jive with you. And it doesn't necessarily mean that it's the wrong way, but if you can see that that's not how you're going to work, and then it's not going to work for them. So you're just putting in a lot of time and energy to somebody that's just not going to be beneficial to your business. And so it's okay for you to say, maybe this isn't the best course for us. Maybe, I'm not the right person for you. You are more than welcome to continue that customer service and offer a suggestion on somebody who might work better with them, so that you're still maintaining that level of customer service without putting yourself at a deficit. And know your boundaries. If you only want to work between 7 and 3, then only work between 7 and 3. And make it aware to everybody that that's how you're doing it. You do not need to be answering messages 24/7. And if somebody flips out because you didn't get back to them and within 5 hours when you've posted or stated very clearly, this is when I work, then that's on them. That's not on you. All right?
Yeah.
And it's okay to have those boundaries, because that's how you're going to maintain your own self-care. Because, working for yourself is very exhausting. And don't let anybody tell you that it's not. Those oh, I only work 2 hours a day for, and I make this much money. No.
No.
Maybe at some point you will get to that point, because you will have a team who will be working 10 hours a day for you.
Yeah.
But in the beginning, it is exhausting because you're putting a lot of time and effort in many, many different areas. And so make sure you set those boundaries with your clients and with your potential customers. But that means you can set up things so, like, you have your automated chat that says, thank you so much for dropping something. I will get back to you. Or, if it's just for the free lead gen, you can have an automatic reply. Thanks so much. Here's the link. And then you can follow up when it's within your working hours. I think that's really important to recognize too.
Yeah. And that's where automation is really beneficial if it's used correctly.
Yeah. Oh, we lost her. She disappeared. So, any rate. Oh.
Hi.
I don't know where she went. Yeah. Everybody got to see my tree hiding in the corner that has been stripped, but it hasn't been taken down yet.
Yeah, that was interesting.
Oh well. We're actually very close to the end here anyways, so
Yep.
that was it. The other thing that I'm trying to think what else for customer service, but really that is the main thing. Is your goal is to build trust and relatability and a sense of, that rapport with those people. But also, your secondary thing is to make sure that you are treating customer service for yourself as well. Making sure that it's aligning with you and how you're going to do things, and, maintaining respect for yourself as well. You do not have to do all those things. So,
Yeah.
next week.
Next week. I'm excited. It actually plays right into this, doesn't it?
Yep.
Next week, we're talking about building trust through recommendations and how to stay authentic and honest, which is something we talk about all the time because it's so bloody important.
Yeah, and I mean, I think people are finally starting to get the hint, but it doesn't hurt to remind you that authenticity is huge.
Yes.
All right, so that's it, and that's all for today, folks. If you found this helpful, please drop a comment, share, and hit that subscribe button. Your feedback is super helpful in growing this channel.
And of course, if you have any questions or if there's any specific thing that you would like us to talk about, drop that in the comments too. Happy Friday!
Happy Friday, everyone.